Kia ora, Legionnaires, Rycon here, and welcome back to Kenshi. And this episode of Kenshi will be a little bit different from the others we've had thus far, and part of that is due to the fact that this will be the last episode in San's story. And there's a few reasons as to why that is the case. Unfortunately, one of the major mods that we were using in San City has vanished off the workshop. And the way that Steam Workshop works is that even if you've got something installed and you're subscribed to it, if it's removed from the store, it's just deleted off your system. Incredibly frustrating. And it does mean that our San City is looking a little more barren now, I suppose you could say. Much more than I would like. And while that is a frustration, it's something that we would be able to work through. No, the main reason this story is wrapping up, coming to an end here, is due to the fact that we reached our original goal, which for Sand and Park was to see the Holy Nation fall. They are in tatters, with both the Shek and the Shinobi thieves claiming their old land. However, that was looking like it wasn't going to be the end of conflict, as in the northeastern deserts, the United Cities remained. Without the Holy Nation, the United Cities would be able to flourish and push beyond their original boundaries. And propped up by slavery, they would be a force that Sand and the other allied nations would have to fight. However, the United Cities operate differently than the Holy Nation once did. You see, I believe this conflict doesn't need to be resolved with violence. Instead, perhaps enough blood has been spilt. Now, thinking of all the locations across this continent, what location is producing the very best weapons and armor that you can buy? New stuff, not that old ancient tech. That's right, Sand City. A city full of some of the most skilled craftspeople that this age has to offer. Those crafts, both weapons, armor, and otherwise, are incredibly valuable. You see, at the end of the day, the United Cities speak a different language than the Holy Nation. That language is cats, aka money. And it is with that money that we can resolve our issues. Now, it's not as fun, gameplay-wise, but with the immense amount of wealth that Sand City is able to produce, we would be able to buy out every single slave trader across the United Cities. And I mean buying their licenses from them. And that means everyone currently in captivity would be freed. Sure, it'd be a heck of a trade deal to pull off, but we do have some fantastic speakers back in Sand City. And so, if you would, please walk with me now as I take you on a journey into the future of where I see the Unbroken going as time unfolds. And so, with Hanbu, Stubbs Mumuso, and Chad leading the charge, the end and the abolition of slavery in the United Cities is put into action. And with so many people now free and the United Cities, well, a desert, where then would those people go? Perhaps to this new city. One in the southwest, able to turn the soil into something living, Sand City. And in the years following, that city would flourish to become a metropolis of people from all across the continent. It wouldn't be without its conflicts, however. The breakers would always be needed, be it small offshoots of bandits or Shek warlords trying to prove their worth. The walls of Sand City would need to be defended. Led by the renowned martial artist Park, his students will be taught to bend steel with their fists, to deflect blades, and how to keep on walking when you've got 20 crossbow bolts in your side. And the other warriors were taught by Park's partner and wife, Ruka, schooled in the art of saber, katanas, and heavy weapons. The breakers would certainly make anyone think twice before attacking Sand City or any of its allied settlements. The city itself was ruled over by a council of these breakers: Park, Ruka, Saro, Seto, Hanbu, Oren, Jewel, Kichi, Firebone, and Izumi. This council deliberated over the well-being of all of those that resided within Sand City and its outer settlements. There will be time of hardships and great prosperity in the years to come. But there is still someone missing. Someone that we haven't mentioned thus far. The man for which the city was named. Sand. After peace with the United Cities was gained, Sand and his companion Dogmeat walked out of the walls of Sand City for what would be the last time. He held clutched in his hand notes, scrawlings, words from the Bugmaster. They spoke of some great menace, some great threat in the far southeast of the world, in a landscape of ash, a place of memory forgotten by time. It was there that Sand would fight, and continue to fight for a long, long time. Many years, in fact, before he finally reached that ominous place. And what happened there, we'll never know for sure, for no one that has entered has ever left. Even so, there are still myths spoken of an old man and his dog walking along the hilltops of Sand City, stopping for a moment or two to admire its prosperity. For once, it was small, just a blip on the landscape, but from that blip came great change, and the continent was never the same for it. Now would come an age of prosperity, an age of peace, but the world had known those ages before, and surely it would not be long before change would come again. For now though, our Unbroken have earned their rest, and perhaps even a happy ending for them. And so, Legionnaires, the curtains are drawn on this chapter of Kenshi. When I first started playing all those episodes ago, I was incredibly fresh to the game. I wasn't sure exactly where I wanted the story to go. So much of it has been driven by the events of the game itself. And it's generally how I like to roleplay. And here we are, with a city brimming full of people. We've certainly come a long way from Rebirth. And while I know for many this won't be the ending that they had sought, I know many will want blood with the United Cities. And that I do understand. And some of you may fret that this will be the end of Kenshi. However, fret not. I do have a new series in the works, this time focused solely on one character and their struggles in this world. Set long before Sand and Park freed themselves from Rebirth, this will be a solo journey, and one very different from how this series has been presented. I know many of you really enjoyed the cinematic aspects of the beginning and the end to these episodes, and I want to try and see if we can do something different with that. Generally, we'll be able to cover a lot more ground with this technique, and it will present differently than a standard playthrough of Kenshi. And so I am excited to bring this to you as soon as I can. Well, there we are, outside of Sand City, as it stands in the future. And I want to take this time to thank every single one of you who has watched up until this point. It's not every day you get to finish a series, and I hope that this has been able to provide some sense of closure for this one. I would like to thank the Legion on Patreon, and every single one of you watching. You've all made this story possible. And so, for one final time here in Sand City, I bid you farewell. For now, I have been Rycon. You have all been awesome. And until next time, stay tuned.